Welcome to the wrestling-related podcast, and I had a pop-up that just happened there. So this is the podcast where the topics are related to wrestling, and the three of us are related to each other. You should know who we are by now. If not, I'm Josh.
I'm Dustin.
I'm Corey.
And you guys are catching us on what we're hoping to be a shorter episode this time. We're going to try to keep this under an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah. Hey, guys, instead of doing our normal recap, instead of where we just kind of talk about all the things that are the things, because let's just face it, there's some of the stuff that we wind up talking about on these episodes that we really don't want to talk about. I'm looking at you, Dustin, and we know which wrestlers you really don't want to talk about.
I know.
I know. Instead of talking about the things that we don't want to talk about, what if we talk about the things that we do want to talk about, and then I'll also button hook Dustin and make him talk about the thing that he doesn't want to talk about anyways. I'm thinking let's talk about pushes. And I'm not talking about the, a Salt and Pepper song. Instead, who is out there? I don't care if it's AEW. I don't care if it's WWE. Don't care if it's on Raw. It's on SmackDown. It's on NXT. It's in TNA. It's in Ring of Honor. Don't care. It could be in CMLL or AAA or New Japan or All Japan if you watch that, if that's your flavor. Who out there in the wrestling business today needs a bigger push? It may be somebody that has a little bit of a push, but they need to have the rocket strapped to their back and lit and send them straight to the moon. Who is it?
I was counting how many breaths you were taking in between that big long run-on sentence.
Beef.
I don't know who the guy is. He's like a cousin to somebody, but that was hilarious.
Tell me you saw it.
Oh, I saw it. I loved it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's supposed to be the cousin of Anthony.
Who cares?
It was
no clue. The guy that was injured, and he was filling in for him, and the dude can work.
Yeah, he can work, and he's got character. He's got. I mean, he already knocks off the people that I don't like to talk about. So there you go.
Hey,
everyone.
Samuel Jackson said it best. Personality goes a long ways.
That's right.
Personality does go a long way. Yep.
So yes, he needs a little nudge right now. He needs a nudge. Yeah. Not a big push.
Yeah.
But a little nudge.
Is he even on the roster?
He's on Ring of Honor.
Oh, Ring of Honor. Yeah, he's on Ring of Honor.
Watch that. Put him on AEW. Let's go.
Yeah. Just
Where do you watch Ring of Honor now?
Honor Club.
YouTube?
No, it's only through their app off their website for $10 a month, I think. Lord willing,
hard pass.
That gets wrapped up into the new Warner Brothers Discovery deal, which I am hoping we get an announcement like maybe Wednesday.
That would be nice.
Like maybe Wednesday, because isn't that their 5-year anniversary? I think of Dynamite?
No, that's next week. Next week.
It's
5-year.
This week is Grand Slam. Next week is the 5-year.
Right.
So I could see it happening at the 5-year. I got my weeks mixed up on that. But
okay, so back to the question.
Back to the question. Yes, I would say that Beef, whatever his name is, he definitely needs maybe not a rocket, but a firecracker.
Sure.
He needs something. Give him a little bit of a push. Let's test the waters. Let's see where he's going. They've done this with others where, give them a little bit and see what they do with it. And then once they've done something, to the moon.
Yep. To the moon, Alice.
Yep. Corey, who do you think needs a push?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I've got one.
I'm working on my berry list.
Speaking of somebody or somebodies who have not got their All Elite graphic, although I did hear a rumor that they actually got the All Elite graphic right after WrestleMania 3, and that would be the Outrunners.
Outrunners.
The Outrunners?
Yeah.
I love the Outrunners.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Every single interaction I've seen between them and FTR, they came out and in some match recently in the last couple of weeks to save or help out FTR in a match, and they ended the match with their big predator clap, you son of a, and whatnot,
hilarious.
and
then
it was good.
Striking the pose, and not only strike a pose, but then they're bumping because the pose was so powerful that they're taking bumps off of each other.
It's good.
You know, there are moments like this that happen where it's somebody that they are so good in the ring, and yet they have a gimmick that is a comedy gimmick that is just so silly and so fun, yet their in-ring ability is still believable, that I feel like I channel Simon Miller and I'm like, Goofy Wrestling rocks. And it's just like, these guys are good.
I got that with the couple weeks ago with the match with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
When Owens wound up making the hot tag, and his hot tag was he rolled out of the ring, then ran around to his corner to roll back in and make the tag. And I was just like, I lost it. That was money.
Speaking of the Outrunners, did you read what they had said about their time in wrestling with a former retired wrestler by the name of Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, when they were in WCCW?
I saw something about that. It was hilarious.
I had to look it up. Let me read this. It says, matter of fact, The Undertaker wanted us to watch one of his matches against Tom Renesto Jr., son of Tom Renesto Sr. He came back and I was absolutely livid. I said, Mark, which I found out later was his name. I said, Mark, it's a good thing you're walking around like a zombie because this town is officially dead. Then Turbo flung a cucumber at his head, and the rest is history. I'm just like, those guys are a riot. Oh my gosh, they're so fun.
They're so good. I love it. Like, and when I was watching, one of the recent matches we were talking about, where it was like a 10-man tag of FTR, the Outrunners, and Hook. Can't even remember who they wrestled against, but it was so much fun. And it also reminded me of how strong AEW's tag division is. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that tag division, I forget at times how deep it goes. And I'm looking back at this and I'm thinking, I remember watching some of the Young Bucks matches where there was some goofy wrestling in it. They'd go up against like the comedy gimmicks, and it was hilarious. And it's like, I want to see the Outrunners against the Bucks. Like, it's a clash of styles, and it would be so much fun to watch.
So I remember watching that match as well, and I think that was Collision on Friday or Saturday night. And the one thing that stood out to me is how much influence the Outrunners had on some of the younger talent, namely Hook. You know how the Outrunners, when they're on the sidelines or they're on the ring apron, and all of a sudden they see, like, I think at that time it was Roderick Strong ended up doing a backbreaker on one of the FTR guys, and the Outrunners are just like, oh, they're doing this big old dramatic thing.
Yep.
And at one point I look over and Hook's like, oh, like this, and I'm like,
selling.
Wait. Hook's got a personality, and then he got in the ring, and there goes the personality. So,
whoa. I'm just shocked at he sold something, even if it was on somebody else.
He was on the ring apron when he did, because he didn't sell anything in the ring. But other than that, yeah.
Fair. Hey, speaking of Hook and Dustin not wanting to talk about certain things, is there anybody you can think of that when we're talking about pushes, that maybe they deserve their push to become more of a pull? Or maybe like the rocket needs taken off their back, and it's like, let's just see if you can take a couple steps back and earn the push that you were given.
So can
you want the
switch
list?
Companies?
Yeah. Hey, I think to be fair, let's stick with AEW first.
Okay.
Then we'll come back to somebody in WWE that you think needs pushed, or more of a push, and then
we all agree Hook.
Yeah.
Leo Rush. Take him off TV. I can't stand that midget.
Okay.
He's done nothing. I am not impressed. Not even a little bit. I mean, send him down to CMLL to work the minis and just be done with it.
Fair. I mean, I was going to go with maybe a hot take, Daniel Garcia.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Why is everybody all hype on him?
I have not figured it out. Like, hey, Daniel Garcia to me is the equivalent of Wheeler Yuta, where he's solid in ring, but he doesn't have much of a personality. And like, although to be fair, I also think that Ricky Starks is kind of in that as well, but he would be like, if I'm tiering those three, I'm putting Wheeler at the top of those three, Daniel in the middle, and Ricky Starks at the bottom, because the only thing Ricky Starks can do is like hold his head.
But speaking of, Ricky Starks supposedly is heading to WWE,
NXT.
from what I hear. And then also, I just read something last week that Triple H is actually interested in Daniel Garcia. Interested in doing some talking.
Maybe
you know what? The sheets will tell you all sorts of lies.
Yeah.
Maybe
also,
they can do something.
I don't know. I'm not supposed to talk about other people. So,
hey, let's go back one more in AEW that I think deserves a push.
A push.
Okay. And then I'll tell you one more that I think. Oh yeah.
100%.
Like
yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, with how he's been performing,
he can go.
Give him a title shot. I don't care.
Yep.
Put him in the ring right now.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I can't think of, have there been some missed spots here and there early when he has the new mask? Because I noticed he was fidgeting with the mask the first couple matches that he had and trying to get it to fit right. And there were a couple things that just like vision issues. But lately, no, he's got it.
Oh my gosh.
And can I just say, let's give kudos to him. Because, back in 2020 when we were all wearing that little mask and it was so hard to breathe just walking down the street, and he's carrying on 10, 20, 30-minute matches doing what he does and wearing that huge, gigantic mascot-looking head on his head.
Yep.
It's just, the man's got to be in phenomenal cardio shape.
Impressive.
Phenomenal.
And he does all the flippy-flop that some of the smaller guys do, but then he can sit there and press slam people off the top turnbuckles. And it's like the balance and strength and coordination and to make sure nobody died. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
And his match with Ricochet last week was pay-per-view worthy right there. That was such a good match.
It was so good. So good. The Aussie little guy that likes to team up with Ospreay,
Cal Fletcher.
He's really good.
Yeah,
really good. He's if he would stop standing there and screaming for no reason. I mean, nothing happened yet, dude. Just no, you're not in Japan. Don't just stand there and scream.
So this is me right now. Okay. In the future, this might change. In the past, my opinion might have been different. Right now, the Rainmaker needs to be drawn back. Quit pushing him. And honestly, Mariah May. I have not been impressed. I have not been impressed since she won the title at all.
Where's Toni Storm? Where's Toni Storm? She's the only reason why I watched Mariah May.
Fair.
I like Harley better than Mariah. Harley's hilarious.
She is a riot.
But we have a bend towards comedy gimmicks.
Deep. And that Deeb chick, get rid of her too. I can't stand
Serena
her.
Deeb,
yeah.
You heard, speaking of Harley, you heard about the Soraya's rules, right?
No.
Oh, there is a match coming up next week between Soraya.
Okay.
And who's the other one?
What's her face? The redhead.
Oh,
that just came back.
Jamie Hayter.
Okay. But it's Soraya rules. So Soraya rules, they went over on Collision. Soraya rules, rule number 1. I don't know them all. You want me to look them up?
Just start rattling off the ones you remember.
You have to abide by the 10 count rule unless you're Saraya. There are no
rope breaks.
Use of no rope breaks unless you're Saraya. No foreign objects used unless you're Saraya. No outside interference unless you're Saraya or Harley.
Unless you're a friend of Saraya.
A friend of Saraya's, yeah. What were some of the others? There was like 10 of them, and they were so hilarious.
I'm pulling them up.
You pull them up.
Number one, there are no rules except for the following. Number two, you cannot use weapons unless you're Saraya. Number three, you must obey the 10 count unless you're Saraya. Number four, no biting, choking, closed fist, hair pulling, or groin kicking unless you're Saraya. Number five, no hammerlocks. Number six,
she just doesn't like them.
She just doesn't like them.
No outside interference unless you're a friend of Saraya's. 7, no rope breaks unless you're Saraya. 8, the match must only begin with offense from Saraya. Number 9, Jamie Hayter is a slag. Number 10, the winner receives an autographed copy of Saraya's autobiography.
Yep. I love it. This is going to be so good on Grand Slam.
That is hilarious.
So she has this list. And she's being interviewed by Renee.
Yep.
Okay.
She has this list. And then as soon as it's over, then she crumples it all up and shoves it all into her mouth. And then they just walk off. And Renee's like fighting to not bust it.
Yeah. Now,
it's like,
there is, give Harley a little bit of a push. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I don't know I like Mariah. I like what she's doing because it offsets what's going on with Toni Storm. And because it makes me want Toni Storm more, it's like, I like it. It's not that I want her just off TV. I just want to see more of Toni Storm. And I want her involved. So, and as far as the Rainmaker goes, I don't know. I enjoy the Rainmaker.
I'm getting bored.
I'm just when I think I'm going to get bored with him, he either flips me off or refers to somebody else as a female dog. And I know I shouldn't laugh and giggle, but I do.
But inside you're a 12-year-old.
Inside I am a 12-year-old, and there's just something so stupid and adolescent about it that it makes me giggle. In a similar way that here's another one that I think needs a little bit more of a push. Mark Briscoe. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
He's getting a push, but give him more. I'm not content with just having the Ring of Honor championship. Like, what else can we stick on that guy? Because
we're not happy with the fact that we just see him every week. We want more.
I want more. You know what I want? Here's what I want from AEW. AEW, give me daily Mark Briscoe content. I don't want a word of the week. I want a word of the day. Drop it on your social media with him just shouting into the camera with the conglomeration behind him, so every day we can wake up and hear what the word of the day is. That's what I want. AEW, book it. It's just like I want to wake up in the morning. I want to have my notification from my Bible app to do my Bible reading, and then I want a notification from AEW on X that says, here's your word of the day. Like, that's what I want.
Daily devotion, your daily devotional, and your Mark Briscoe word of the week.
Yes.
Word of the day.
Like,
and a new rule from Harley.
And a new rule from Harley would be, that'd just be great. Okay, let's flip over to WWE. We're talking about those who need a push.
Need a little something.
Who just, it's like, and maybe it's not that they need it. They deserve it.
Let's give it to them.
They've
give them more.
Earned it. It's like these guys are doing the work and they may have gotten a little bit of a push, but they need more. Let's strap the rocket to them. So who have we got in WWE? And it can be Raw, SmackDown, NXT. It's still WWE.
For me right now, everything from in-ring ability to promos to anything that is asked of this person, Chelsea Green, 100%.
I knew you were going to say it.
Chelsea Green.
Absolutely. Everything.
Love
in
it.
ring. I mean, she takes a top ladder through a table perfectly.
Yes.
I mean, her little cameo she did Monday night was hilarious. You know, it's just...
She's good.
Or not Monday night. I guess it's Friday night.
I would love...
Chelsea Green.
I still would love to see Chelsea Green somehow win the Divas Championship. I don't know how.
Bringing it back.
But I want her to do it. I want her to win the women's title and then bring back and then be like, no, I'm carrying the Divas. Like,
if John Cena can take the U.S. Championship and turn it into
a spinner,
why can't she revive the Divas?
Hey, all of these others, they get their own little versions of it. Daniel Bryan in WWE, he had his, organic or whatever it was that he carried that thing. That was a weird looking one.
His hemp belt.
Yeah. So it's
they should have had her find it in the dumpster diving she was doing last week.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. Pull it out and say, what's it?
That's where it's been.
No! And then clean it all up, put it over her shoulder and walk away.
Chelsea Green's a good one. Chelsea Green's at the top of the list. I've got to think of another one now because I was going to say Chelsea Green. Corey, who are you thinking?
Who am I thinking?
WWE.
I don't know. WWE right now is pushing so many good people that there's a lot of people that if we go down the list of the roster, the people that have even been on TV, most of them are like bringing it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to say they're not getting enough. The only one I could think of is I want to see more Otis. I got to see him in an interview with Chris Van Vliet. Apparently it was an impromptu interview because Chris was interviewing what's his face?
Yeah,
what's his face? Little Kurt Angle.
Chad Gable.
Yeah, Chad Gable. Anyways, and but he's like, hey, you in town long? Yeah, for another couple of days. I'm interviewing Jesse the next day, and he's like, you want to interview Otis? He lives down the street. What?
Yeah.
So he came rolling in. I listened to that, and Otis is a riot. Give him more mic time.
So hilarious. Otis has got to have some ADHD stuff going on. Because I caught clips of that where he's just like squirrels left and right, and he's just playing with his belly. And I'm like, it was hilarious.
That's what I'm not doing enough of. I need to play with my belly. That's what
it was hilarious. He's got Chris Van Vliet just rolling in the interview.
Chris was like, "You got a little Farley in you, don't you?" And he's like, "I don't see it." And I was like, "Oh my god, I can hear it."
Yeah. Yep.
I can hear the attention deficit going bananas on him.
Okay, I've got one that I do think needs a little bit more of a push. Andrade. His in-ring, he's doing whatever they asked him. He went, they said, hey, we need somebody to go do this speed thing over on X. And he's like, done. He went and did it. Now we've got Carmelo and we're trying to push him. Would you do a program with him? Done. Do it. And then that match against LA Knight
was good.
That was a good match. And to me, Andrade's always been good. He's always been solid. The thing that lacks is just his ability to cut promos, but yet he's proving himself and working up even without the promos. And so it's like, yeah, let's just give him a push. What I would honestly love to see, and I don't know if they'll do it, but I would love to see Charlotte come back and then just pair up and team with Andrade. Just let them be there. She can help him cutting some of the promos. He can be there to kind of help and be some muscle, and kind of like the valet, but for each other, but they're both doing their own thing. Like, that would be cool, especially if then they bring in Matt Cardona and you have some Chelsea Green, Matt Cardona stuff going on. I'd just get some good intergender tag stuff going. But yeah, I think Andrade needs a little bit more of a push. I don't know if it's full-fledged Rocket yet. Bottle Rocket? Yep. I'm good with it.
And can I just jump in and say, I'm going to agree with This one you may or may not agree. I'm going to agree with Rikishi. Rikishi actually seems to think that Triple H is not pushing Jey Uso enough. I mean, he is so over with the crowd. You know, he just has to come out and just yeet, and the whole crowd's doing it. And the fact that him and Rhea Ripley are kind of doing their little thing now and everything, he's getting over even more. Push him more. You know,
Fair
put
enough.
a belt on him, a singles belt on him, instead of just saying, you know, former 8-time or however many time tag team champion. Put a single belt on him. I mean, we're not sure with Jimmy. We're not sure when he's coming back. He's had some health issues, but I guess, you know, he's coming back sooner than we think, according to Jay. But still, push him. He's hot with the crowd right now. Do it. Take advantage of that crowd while you got it.
Fantasy booking, I don't care for him with Rhea. It just seems round hole square peg. Just doesn't work for me. But I do agree with give him a belt. Let him kind of do something. Braun Breaker's a good kid, but I don't care.
He's the opposite.
I no longer care. So he got it. He got his little push. Let him go do something else. See if he can do something without a belt on him. And,
I'm good with that.
And bring in Jay. Let Jay do something with the.
Yeah, and I think it would also be cool
if more sense.
Yeah, I think it would also be cool if he winds up getting, you know, say the IC belt, and he gets that all around the time that all of a sudden Roman's needing some help. And it's like, I got this going on, but blood's still blood.
Right.
And then I could see that. So, hey, as we get ready to wrap this up, we talked about those in WWE that we think need a little bit of a push. Who do you think that they need their push dialed back, or they just need to be benched? Who do you think's getting that push right now that it's like, yeah, let's dial it back?
We mentioned Braun Breaker, just needs dialed back a little bit. Maybe take the belt off of him. Y'all know how I feel about two females in the organization right now. Neither one. What'd you say? Did you say Jade Cargill? What'd you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
I was also thinking, and this is not a male-female thing. Don't get me wrong, because there are some so talented females, but this need PTSD therapy collective group, whatever it is, why they're still on TV, I don't know.
The thing that sounds like an energy drink, yes.
Exactly. They're not entertaining at all. I mean, no. At all.
The forehead crew.
That is the forehead crew, yeah. You know, and their work is even sloppy.
Subpar.
I mean, it's not spot on. And if you're going to be on TV and you're getting a push, you need to be able to execute well.
Pull them back. Pull them back because we don't care. I was even more entertained with Maxine and her work recently than I have been with any of Jade Cargill's matches or with the forehead crew.
Absolutely.
Just forget that. Bring Maxine in. Why is Chelsea Green not working in every show? One, I don't think she has to, but give us the entertainment. Yeah, that chick that she's with can go, but doesn't seem to be getting a chance.
Right.
And she's getting outshined, but that's another thing.
And once again, for me, I'm also going to side with Rikishi, because the man's been around a long time. He knows a lot. And Rikishi made a comment just recently that
I did it for The Rock.
His comment was, "You're gonna hate me, Josh." Jacob Fatu.
He's wrong. No, he's wrong. He's
because there's nowhere else to go for him.
Yeah, there is.
You already threw him up. You're already trying to pit him against Cody Rhodes.
The swerve. You take him against Solo.
Okay.
He's no longer It doesn't have to, because all of a sudden, here's the thing. Roman is on a whole nother level from Solo.
Yeah.
True.
That's why we never bought into Solo.
We only think that it's main event. That's just because Roman hasn't been there. Now that Roman's back and he says, no, I am not Solo's enforcer. I am the tribal chief's enforcer. And if Roman beats you, I'm his enforcer. You just lost your spot because now you have to try to go through me. You used to have this spot. You lost it. It's mine now.
They could do some more. However, I do think that they cannot make this guy unbeatable. He needs to suffer some losses.
Yeah.
So that he can be actually
they haven't made him
be entertaining.
They haven't made him Goldberg. They've definitely pushed him, but I think
or Bronson Reed.
Yeah, I think his push was well deserved. If like we're doing like a who's underrated, overrated, properly rated type of deal instead of push no push, I think that he is properly rated right now. Like the push they're giving him is good.
See, that's totally different. Being rated and having a push to me is two different things.
Well, I'm just using if we're saying, are we going to give him more of a push, less of a push, or the push that he's on? So that's where I'm saying it. And I think the push he's on is right where it needs to be. Because to me, all I see it doing is it's leading to Solo versus Jacob. And that's where it needs to be. I don't see it leading to Solo versus Roman. I see it leading to Solo versus Jacob Fatu. Or Jacob versus Roman. I see it Jacob versus Solo.
I don't think he's necessarily gotten too much screen time or too much attention per se. Just because I'm constantly staring at that stupid yellow mohawk that's too wide.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, and how Solo comes off as a tough guy, I don't get it.
Hey, when he first entered, it was believable.
Was it?
When he first entered, it was believable.
I'll buy it.
I stopped believing it when I saw Zillow Fatu do an even better Samoan Spike. Because like you elevate him and do it, and it's like, okay, never mind. Hey, you guys took the ones that I was actually going to say for let's dial back the push. So instead,
I think those are pretty obvious.
I'll give an honorable mention.
Sure.
An honorable mention that I think needs the push, and this is a TNA guy that deserves to get the push to the main card. Say his name and he'll appear. I believe in Joe.
I believe.
He hasn't been getting a push.
Not really.
He deserves to go straight to the main roster. Like I get he's a TNA guy and he's under contract with them. Let him go to the main roster. Although I'm kind of thinking that might be on the case because I did see a little thing on the internet that Joe Hendry has apparently applied for some U.S. patents and trademarks of Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry and say his name and he'll appear. And it's for things wrestling related, t-shirts, hats, and whatnot. So maybe he's gearing up and he might be heading to the main roster. If so, I think out of all of them that have done the TNA, WWE, NXT crossover, he's the one. Yeah, send him straight in.
And for those of you that are listening right now, you will understand. Just because we're brothers and we've been wrestling, we don't agree on everything. I mean, brothers argue, brothers disagree. I think Josh and Corey are completely senile when it comes to Jacob Fatu's opinion, or my opinion on him. But hey, whatever. I also live 1,000 miles away and don't have to deal with him. So,
and I still think that Nia Jax is amazing right now. So, all right, hey, that's all we got for this episode, guys. Let us know your hot takes. Who do you think deserves more of a push in whatever promotion they're in? Who do you think needs their push dial back? Love to hear from you. Drop a comment, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Later.